Thank you. And now I am very proud and honored to introduce your next speaker, my good friend, your next Attorney General, Rochelle Garza.
Cause baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be mad love. So take a look what you've done. Cause baby, now we got bad blood. Hey! Now we got problems. And I don't think we can solve them. You made a really deep cut.
Hello, Texas Democrats. Es un orgullo estar aquí con ustedes esta noche. It is an honor to be with all of you here this evening. My name is Rochelle Garza. I am your Democratic nominee for Texas Attorney General. I'm the first Latina to be nominated in Texas history. And when elected, I'll be the first woman and Latina ever to serve in this role. I'm a fifth-generation Texan, born in the Rio Grande Valley, where I live today. I grew up like a lot of South Texas kids, catching tarantulas and snakes for show and tell, and hunting nilgai with my dad. My family is tight-knit, and for many years, our focus was on taking care of my oldest brother, Robbie, who suffered a brain injury during childbirth and grew up with disabilities. He couldn't walk, talk, or see, but he knew our voices and he felt our love. One day, my mom brought Robbie back from a doctor's appointment. My brother had a dislocated hip, the result of a physical therapist's refusal to believe that Robbie was capable of feeling pain. My mom and Robbie sat with the doctor under the fluorescent lights of the hospital room, and he told her that because of Robbie's disabilities, it wasn't worth spending the money on the surgery he needed. The doctor said this in front of my brother as if he didn't exist. Robbie was 9 years old. And in the doctor's eyes, my brother was not deserving of dignity, comfort, and care. We heard the same thing from the insurance company when they told us they wouldn't pay for the wheelchair lift Robbie needed to get to school. And we heard this from our own legislature every time they took up a bill that made it harder for people in towns like ours to get health care. I learned that there are people in positions of power who will look at someone like my brother and decide it's just not worth the time to treat them like a person. But I also learned that for every one of those people, there are people like my mother, like me, like us, like Texas Democrats, who will refuse to let anyone be denied their humanity. Robbie passed away before I left for college, but his life remained with me. He is why I became an attorney, and I've spent my life fighting for those that people in power don't believe matter. I'm running for Texas Attorney General because our families, our children, our very lives are at stake. As an attorney, my job is to use the law to make powerful people treat my clients fairly, to recognize their humanity. This has been a constant in my legal career, from representing young children fleeing violence in Central America to reuniting families separated at the border, and to fighting for teens seeking access to abortion care. In 2017, I represented Jane Doe, a 17-year-old detained immigrant who was denied her right to an abortion by the Trump administration. This is what led me to take on Brett Kavanaugh in the only abortion case he heard as an appellate judge. I took on Donald Trump, Brett Kavanaugh, and Ken Paxton, and won. My work on that case resulted in the Garza Notice that protects teens in immigration detention from being denied access to abortion care, even in these dark times. Because of that case, I testified against Kavanaugh during his Supreme Court confirmation hearings because I knew he'd vote to overturn Roe, and he did. My work as an attorney is grounded in the belief that no one, however humble, is beneath the protection of the law. And no one, no matter how powerful, is above its reach. Paxton doesn't believe the law applies to him. That's how he came to be under criminal indictment for over 7 years without trial, to be investigated by the FBI for bribery, to have a professional misconduct charge brought against him by the state bar for trying to overturn the 2020 election. Texas could be the only state where the Attorney General cannot practice law. Ken Paxton is leading the charge for right-wing fascism, and the power of his office allows him to do so. When asked to give comfort to the grieving families of Uvalde in the wake of tragedy, the best Paxton could do was tell them, life is short. When more than 700 Texans died because of Winter Storm Uri, Paxton continues to fail in holding anyone accountable for the death and financial ruin forced upon us. And when the Supreme Court overturned Roe, Paxton celebrated, naming it an annual holiday for the Attorney General's office. Unless we vote him out, people will die. He is suing to stop doctors from saving the lives of women who need an emergency medical abortion. This is femicide, and he is just getting started. Paxton will go to the Supreme Court of the United States and ask them to end marriage equality and access to contraception and bring back anti-sodomy laws. When elected, I will answer to the people. I will protect the rights of every single Texan. I will root out corruption and bring back integrity and transparency to the AG's office. I will create a fully funded civil rights division to protect the safety, privacy, and dignity of every Texan. I will create a workers' protection bureau to support working families and defend our right to unionize. I'll take on bad actors for price gouging and hold health insurance companies accountable for delivering what they promise, because that's how you help ordinary families get ahead. As Attorney General, I won't stop fighting until our abortion rights are restored in Texas. "14 weeks ago, my husband and I welcomed our first child, our baby girl. And bringing her into the world made this fight crystal clear to me. I want her to grow up with more choices and freedom than I had. I want her to know, to never doubt, that in Texas, she is everyone's equal, and that Texas is as much her home as anyone else's. I want her to be free, to marry whoever she chooses to love, to decide for herself if, when, and how to become a parent, to choose her own path in life. My dad always told me, "Mijita, you're a woman, you're from the border, and you're Latina. No one is going to give you anything. You have to take it. So let's take it. Let's fight like hell for our home. Let's fight for our families. Let's fight for our children. Let's fight for the Texas we deserve." Thank you.
Now we got